Hey guys, welcome to the Women of Power radio show.
Hey y'all, we're excited to see you. Y'all already know we have an exciting show planned for y'all this evening. So use this time wisely, okay? Time is of the essence. Go ahead, like and share the video. Okay? Yes, all of that. So again, if you're in any groups, relationship groups, love dating groups, whatever, don't just share on your page. Come on, like spread the love. Share there too.
And make sure you tag 1 or 2 or 3 people.
Good evening and welcome to the Women of Power radio show. I am your hostess with the mostest, Kasha Hunt, and I want to thank you for joining us on tonight. Listen, right here joining me as my special guest on tonight is none other than Cheryl Thomas, aka Cheryl the Pearl, aka my mama. And I was like, I was thinking somebody exciting that could come on and really add value to the show. And I was like, Cheryl Thomas, come on, bring her on. And so we are so glad to welcome you on the show tonight.
Thank you very much.
Listen, you guys received the instructions at the beginning, so I hope that everyone is sharing and liking the video right now because we got some awesome questions to answer on tonight, and I am so excited to help these individuals because, as you know, the Women of Power radio show, what we do is we take your questions, your relationship questions, and we answer them right here live on Facebook and YouTube. And you have the opportunity to jump on and hear not only our answers, but the answers from people that are watching us all around the world. So how amazing is that?
That's amazing.
I know, huh? George Pitts, thank you for joining us on tonight. Jewel Brittany, thank you for coming and jumping on with us tonight. She says she's a fave. Yes, you are. You are a fave. And so, yes. So, listen, you guys, we're going to jump right in. We're not going to hesitate. We're not going to take any time because you guys already know, like, share, woo, woo, woo. So, the question on tonight, the first question we're going to start off with was we had a listener that sent in a question that said they met their current person that they're dating during the pandemic. And so during the pandemic, of course, all of us were like sent home to work from home offices. We weren't doing a lot of extracurricular activities. Schools closed. Everything was shut down. And so there was a lot of time to talk on the phone, a lot of time to Zoom. Not Zoom, but FaceTime, all this time to do all these different things to communicate. And so during this time, her and this gentleman got very close because they were able to communicate. And so now that everything is opened back up and people are back to kind of a sense of normalcy, it'll never go back to the normal, but she had to go back to work and she started school. And so she's in work during the day and taking classes at night. And so this guy is complaining, y'all. He's like, wait a minute. We are spending so much time together. Like, what happened? And so she's like, what do I do? Because he's not understanding. He's like having zero understanding. And, I've even seen this kind of stuff, these kind of complaints or issues with women that have children. And the men are like, I understand you got kids, but what about me? Yeah. What about our time? What about us? What about us? What about us? Yeah. My kids, come first. And so we want to help this listener on tonight, and we want you to start chiming in, typing in your answers, and let us know what you think. But we're going to start off with Cheryl Thomas. So Cheryl, aka Mama, what advice would you give to this young lady that's dealing with this man that's complaining about the fact that her life has now gotten back to a sense of normalcy and she doesn't have the time that she had during the pandemic to spend with him?
Like you said, this is the new normal.
Yes, it is.
For her. But I have a question for her.
Okay.
Does he not work? Does he not have any curricular activities that he does on the side? I mean, is he wanting to be under her 24/7 like during the pandemic?
Well, I think what it is during the pandemic, it was more so FaceTiming, talking all day, just communicating. I don't think there was a lot of seeing each other because it was a pandemic, but I'm sure as it started lessening up, they started probably hanging out a lot, doing stuff
Right.
in the day and
Right.
at night, and now she can't do that anymore.
Well, she needs to have a discussion with him because this is her norm, her new norm, and she's got to work and she's going to school to better herself. And so she needs to let him know that he may not be the ace coon number one like he used to be, that there are other important things that she wants to pursue while maintaining a relationship with him.
So most people would say this is selfish of him. Most people would say he's being selfish if he's not understanding that the world has gone back to a sense of normalcy. Now, I'm going to assume that he had to go back to work too. So maybe he's complaining more so about the evening time and just he's probably he got comfortable, y'all. He got comfortable with I don't know what you're saying. I don't have the capability to interpret. But thank you for joining us. I don't even want to try to pronounce your name, but thank you for joining us. I don't know. You're joining us from YouTube. Awesome. Thank you for joining us. That's all I can say. But as we're dealing with this topic, we'll go back to Jewel's comment. As we're dealing with this topic on today, we're trying to help this individual. So to me, I think the question we beg to answer is he being selfish? Is he being unrealistic? Is he being just inconsiderate?
Well, I mean, did he know that she was doing all these things before COVID?
I'm not a mind reader. We can surmise a lot of things, but we can only go by
I
what
would
was
think
submitted.
that topic would have come up. I'm in school, but because of
well, she might not have been in school then, but she started school after.
But I mean, during discussion,
right, during that relationship,
right,
yeah,
right.
And it's a possibility, and it's also a possibility that they did discuss it. But it's one thing to discuss things,
That's true,
and it's another thing to actually experience something. So maybe there were discussions. Maybe she did have conversations with him about what was coming and what to expect.
right.
But it's nothing like when it actually happens, and she's got to deal with that. So I would say that maybe that situation. But every time I ask you the question, Miss Thomas, you throw out another question.
I know.
So we're looking for answers. Let me jump to
inquisitive minds want to know, right?
True. Let me jump to Jewel Brittany. Jewel says, look, that is very selfish. And the truth is that all of us can kind of be victims of selfishness, but we also can be perpetuators of selfishness because we have a tendency to want things the way we want it when we want it as well. And so I think that it's imperative that we kind of stop and think about these things, especially in relationships, because since we started focusing on relationships, because Women of Power Radio Show, we've been doing this going on 6 years now. Started off at Fishbowl Radio Network, and it was more of a traditional radio show where we had topics and we had news and we had music playing and all these different things. And it was just last year that we decided to strictly only deal with relationships and kind of convert to a radio show / podcast. And so since we've done that, I'm just going to say, for me personally, I have learned so much. And right. And I've had to even realize for myself that I can be selfish in relationships and that I would kind of have like a superior, not a superiority complex, but I had this mindset like, I'm the woman. I'm the valuable one. I'm the one that's a prize.
I should be in the top tier.
Well, of course I should be in the top tier, but I'm saying that's a given right there. Okay. But what I'm saying is that it was more so like you should be catering to me.
That's because you're spoiled.
Thank you for sharing that, mother.
Yeah.
So this is the disadvantage of having your mom on the show. She gonna put your business out there.
True.
Yeah. But and maybe that was the issue. But the point is that through doing these shows, I realized that I was, I had a selfish way of thinking in relationships, that it's not all about me, but it has to be an equality. And so I would say for this young lady, it's not all about him.
That's true.
Frederick Hurst, thank you for jumping on tonight and joining us on Women of Power. Yeah, so it's not just about her in this relationship, but also he has to realize it's not just about him. And we, like I said, we all have the capability to be selfish, but I will say that for me, I feel like in this situation, this gentleman is being very selfish, because here we have a young lady who during the pandemic, she had all the time in the world. And guess what? We all did. We started doing stuff we hadn't done in years. We started going to the gym or walking our neighborhoods. I started seeing, I didn't even know my neighborhood had kids, okay, until the pandemic, because all the families started coming out and doing stuff in their yards. And I was like, it's kids around here. This is when I was living in Keller. And so, people started doing stuff they weren't doing. Families were spending time with each other, eating dinner together. It was just a lot of things that were happening. Yeah. Fred, you said to each other what? I'm sorry. To each other what? We're selfish to each other. And if that's the case, I agree wholeheartedly. But if I'm wrong, type in what you mean. But yeah, and so we start seeing all these things during the pandemic. Families spending time together, more time on the phone, to reaching out to people out of state, checking on them, people you ain't called in years. Like, let me check on it. Hey, Myrtle, let me check on, just throwing names out there. Let me check on Meemaw's cousin. Just these different things. And so we started doing things that were outside of our norm, but were actually lining us up with really the correct, I guess, order that God set for us, which is God first, then family, then church, then live your life. And so we began to reconnect with families, and we began to start living our lives and doing things that we enjoyed. And we started realizing that, man, this job is killing me, or we started realizing that when I go back to work, it's not going to be the same, because I want to live. I want to be there. I want to see my kids graduate. And we see all these stories, and I'm sure you've seen some too, where people have missed so many things in their families' lives just working or building a company, and they have all of these regrets. I said regrets. And then the Lord doesn't want us to have regrets.
No, He doesn't.
So something had to happen to shake up our very foundation to get us to line back up. So this guy now, would you call him spoiled?
I would say he's not spoiled, but he does have expectations that are a little outside the realm of reality. In that, what happens when, here comes another question. What happens when she graduates from college? Is he going to be insecure? Is he going to demand more of her time? You feel
like the
Bible says, do not be unequally yoked. She needs to take a look, not that she's better than him, but she's the better her. But she needs to look at this relationship and see if it's viable. If he's got insecurities, or if he feels like she's not giving him enough time, she might want to reassess this relationship, because he is asking a lot.
Yeah. And, we talk about love languages, and, all of us, there's, I think, 5 love languages. Some of us, we just want to just give me some gifts. I'm cool. That's my love language. That's how I know you love me. But for some of us, it's time. And it sounds like that must be his love language, like time. Right. But when that's your love language, you got to come up with creative ways to spend time together. If you don't have that luxury, then start thinking of what are some ways that, it's not always about, let's spend the next 4 hours together. It could be, let me just go up to her job when she get off and just walk her to her car and give her a rose. Come on. And just have that 3 to 5 minute conversation on the way to her car, knowing that she's going to school, knowing that she's going to class. What's up, Cliff Sparks? Thank you for joining Women of Power Radio Show on tonight.
Hey, Cliff.
Listen, Joelle Brittany says that is a red flag. She says she's not out partying. She's just trying to better herself, and so that's a red flag. Oh, Cliff said, hey, mommy.
Hey, how you doing, Cliffy, baby?
So she's saying that's a red flag. And that makes so much sense, Joelle. It's like, it's not like she's spending time with other men. It's not like she's trying to, I'm going to the club with my girls, but she's literally like, I'm going to school, bro.
I think it's going to be a problem with him no matter where she's spending her time. Okay. Whether it's at school, whether it's with family, whether it's her kids. He's demanding more of her time to be with him. So part of it's selfishness. Another part may be control. So she needs to really take a look at this type of a relationship. She might want to talk to him. If that doesn't work, then she might want to start backstroking.
Oh, well. So you pretty much telling her to move on. I think my question is, did he just get spoiled over that season? Because so we can admit that sometimes having a certain treatment over a period of time can cause us to have those expectations. And when those expectations are no longer met, that's why it's so important that when we jump into a relationship, we are consistent. Like whatever we start off doing, that's what we need to finish doing. So if we start off spending a lot of time, if we start off cooking, if we start off making ourselves available for every call, then that's the expectation going forward.
Exactly.
And so we've got to think about that. If you already know that you're not going to have the ability to sustain those actions, if you know that you're not going to have the time to do that in the future, then you need to make it known that, hey, I'm answering all of your calls now, but when school starts in September, I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm not going to have the luxury to do that.
Right.
I might.
That's why I said she should have a talk with him, a conversation with him.
Right.
That she may not be as accessible to him as she was early on during the pandemic.
Right. And I think that's what one of our listeners just said on tonight is that, that should have been said in the initial conversation. Like, hey, we're together, but I'm going back to school, and this is what I'm doing.
And she may have said it. He just didn't hear it.
Well, he probably didn't want to hear it.
True.
Hey, Fred says, yes, we were right. We were on point. Tiffany Butler, thank you for joining us on tonight. So listen, you guys, tonight we are talking about this, answering the question for this young lady who met a guy during the pandemic, and they FaceTimed and talked on the phone all the time. And then, of course, when the pandemic began to lift, they started spending a lot of time together because neither one of them had to go back to work yet, and neither one of them had school or anything. And so they spent a lot of time together. And of course, once the world really opened back up, she went back to a normalcy of work, and then she also started a semester of school. And so now he's complaining that they don't spend no time. They don't spend no time together. And he's wanting that old thing back. I want that old thing back. You know that song?
No, that's older than me.
Something that is not older than you. It is not that old.
I don't know that song.
I might have did the wrong melody, but it's not older than you. But anyway, yes. And so she's making all these expectations. Good evening. And so now we have to help this young lady. Now, of course, we got Cheryl Thomas over here who's just telling her, look, throw him in the gutter, go find another.
I did not say that.
You
I
might
said
as well.
you need to have a conversation. And if he's not coming around to the reality of your situation, then you need to move it on. You need to move on.
Okay, LaShonda Robeson Gray, thank you for joining on tonight. But moving on is not always the answer, because see, it's so easy for us to just give up and move on. Like, okay, I tried to start this business, it's not working, I'm just going to stop and move on. You know what? This marriage is not really working, so I'm just going to stop and move on. This job is not really working out for me because there's some adversity, so I'm just going to stop and move on. But the truth is that all of these things come to make us stronger and to build our character. So then if you felt this person was valuable enough to spend the whole pandemic with, then you might want to consider now, what can you do to try to circumvent this issue? Because
I can tell you what you can try to do. You can try to get an understanding.
Right.
And if he's not going to be reasonable about this,
right,
and have an understanding about it, then you need to move on. I mean, it's not like you have a whole lot of time. Wait, you're invested in yourself. You got work, you got schooling,
right,
and you're preparing yourself for the future.
Right.
You don't have a lot of time, not as much as you think, to do all of these things. You cannot babysit a relationship.
Well, I'm not recommending babysitting at all, because I don't babysit. We talking about two grown people. Nobody should need to be sat around or on. Okay. But I agree with you. There needs to be a transparent conversation where it's literally sit down. Let me hold your hand. Let me talk to you. But before I get into what to say, let's see what Cliff Sparks says. Cliff says, what did he say, Cheryl? She got to get her glasses.
I got to get my glasses on.
Let me clear my throat.
Okay, Cliff, where's he at?
He's right here.
Oh, he needs...
Tell you what, let me help you. Here, he's right here. God bless you.
In my ministry.
Because she all over her.
Okay, he needs to understand that she is in school trying to better herself.
Right.
He should go along with it. In the end, everything will fall in place.
Right. Like, you should be supporting her, bro. Like, bro, you should be supporting her. Like, hey, you studying tonight? Let me come over. I help you study. Or
why don't I fix dinner while you're studying?
Right. Or you know what? Hey, I understand you're busy. Why don't we just get together this weekend?
Right.
I'll talk to you later if
Right.
you still feel up to it. Be more accommodating, because this is not something that's going to last.
He's going to lose her if he doesn't change his ways.
Absolutely. Brittany Williams, Tanya Renee Shaw, thank you, ladies, for joining us tonight on the Women of Power Radio Show with my special guest, none other than Cheryl Thomas, aka my mama. Listen, so we are trying to help this listener on tonight, ladies. We trying so hard, and we struggling. But no, we need for you guys to submit some answers. There's a young lady who dated a young man during the pandemic. They had all the time in the world. The world opened back up. She went back to work. She started school, and it just doesn't have the time. And he has an issue with that. He wants his time. And so now we're trying to help this young lady. Of course, Miss Thomas is saying, have a conversation, and if that doesn't work, move on, because there's somebody who will work with you, which is understandable.
There's someone who will support her in what she's trying to achieve.
Absolutely. Come on here. Tiffany Butler says, oh, hey. So Tanya sent us a heart. We love you back. Brittany sent us 3 hearts. She's like, Tanya, I'm going to outdo you. I got 3 hearts. You only got 1 and a hello. But look what I did. I got 2, 3 double hearts. Okay.
But Tanya's got a big heart.
She does have a big one. Tiffany Butler says yes, and they could be working on their goals together in the same space, snacking and working. Come on, like I'm on my laptop over here working on school. You could be working on your business plan, working on work. You know, everything working. We working toward a common goal together to build a future for each other. You know,
building each other.
So yes, absolutely, Tiffany, that is spot on. That's a very good answer. Cliff says yes. And he's in agreement with you, Tiffany. So praise God for that. Fred is saying, move on. Like this guy's he's not even worth talking to. He's trash. But Fred, could it just be an understanding? Could it just be that he's misunderstanding? What did I say? Understanding. It could be an understanding, a wrong understanding.
Well, yeah.
Okay, or a misunderstanding. But could it be that it's just a misunderstanding that maybe he's... I don't know. Look, Tanya Renee Shaw asked the same question you did, Cheryl Thomas. Does he have
a job?
A job?
Yeah.
And so my thing is, I'm going to infer he does have a job, but I'm thinking even as he went back to work, he's just missing all that time. I can imagine, like, if I would have been with somebody during the pandemic, you know how much FaceTiming I could have got in? How many phone conversations, how many coffee dates with a mask on I could have got in. I mean, I'm just saying, it was unlimited time. I mean, I literally, the first 2 weeks of COVID, I'm just like, doo-doo-doo. And then I went back to work the 3rd week. But so there was plenty of time. And it kind of, I think he's spoiled. I think the time together spoiled him. And he's like, I want more. But if you be honest with yourself, my brother, if it's that important for you to spend time with her and it hurts you so bad that you aren't spending time together anymore, do you not even maybe now need to consider whether or not this is somebody you want to spend the rest of your life with?
I think he should be innovative. I think he should create intimacy with her. He should create time, like you said.
Yeah.
Pick her up at work, go to lunch, or after work, just say, hey, let's go get a drink or whatever, or go get some coffee, just talk. And I'll get you back home early so you can study or go to class or whatever. But I think he's going to have to be innovative. I think he's going to have to be very creative, and he can get that time with her and not chase her away, not smother her.
Right.
But
I'm just saying this might be the time to take an evaluation. Of your whole relationship.
Right.
I would take an evaluation. And I'm not talking to her, I'm talking to him. And even though I know he probably doesn't even know she submitted this question, she submitted it anonymously. But listen, the Lord has mysterious ways of letting people hear what they need to hear. So I just wanted to say to that young man that this is the time you may want to evaluate this relationship to determine if there's
room for you in her life.
No, but thank you for trying to end my sentence for me.
Oh, I'm sorry,
mother. But no, I was going to say to evaluate, since he is feeling so strongly, and since he's developed such a strong bond with her, that does he feel like this is someone he wants to spend the rest of his life with? Because if he makes that determination and he says, you know what, just those 6 months we've been together, that year of COVID, I realized I don't want to live without her. I want.
You're talking marriage?
Yes, I'm saying it might be time to determine that. And then, of course, if you're married, then you would wake up to her every morning and you wouldn't have this issue. I'm just throwing that out there.
I would say you would have this issue.
No, you wouldn't have this issue.
Yeah, you would.
No,
you would. Yeah, you would.
No.
I'm your husband, and I think you need to spend more time with me, with our relationship as your husband. So maybe you can go to school next semester.
First of all, you're not my husband. Start there.
Well,
tell me when to go to school. But no, but I'm saying it has to be predicated with a lot of communication.
That's
because
the key.
It could,
and transparency.
Right. And it could, and I think one of our listeners hit it on the nail when she talked about insecurities, the potential that it could be insecurities that are prompting, this sudden irrational response to her unavailability. So we got to discuss that as well. Cliff Sparks says if he can't understand what she's trying to do, then maybe he does need to move on, and that's a very big proponent. But you know what? A lot of times we deal with people's actions and we deal with what they say, but we don't deal with the foundation of why they're acting like that and why they are, having those issues. Just like sometimes children are acting up at school and we don't know that they're acting out because something has happened to them that they have not shared with you.
Right.
We look at people acting out of relationships and we don't understand why they're acting out, but there's a base foundational reason of why they felt like they needed to move out, step outside the marriage or anything, or different stuff like that. And so I think that you have to get to the base of why he is acting like this, because you don't have any time. Is it insecurity? Is it jealousy? Is it?
I don't think it's jealousy, but what I will tell you is I was in a relationship once. Well, more than once. I was in a particular relationship.
Okay, make it clear.
And he was very insecure in that his relationship he had before, they had been together like almost 2 years. And she just backed off from him, and he would see her in the car with some other dude, and he'd stop in the intersection. I mean, it just got all messy. But he was rushing me to the altar because he didn't want the chance that I would start backing away from him. So he was like, hey, look, let's just get married. Okay. I love you. You love me. Let's just go for it. But he was really pushing, and we met Thanksgiving and we got married in January.
So it worked, whatever he did.
Yeah. But because of the way I am, and because I don't do things that make you feel insecure, he was very secure in the relationship. I, on the other hand, shouldn't have been. But hey, we live
I'll
and
get
learn.
ready to say, this is who I think it is. The audacity of you wanting to be confident in the relationship. Mona Faye Clayton, thank you for joining us on tonight on Women of Power Radio Show. The audacity. But you know what? People have, Georgia Pierre, thank you so much for joining us on tonight. People are audacious, you guys. People can be so audacious in their actions and in their deeds and in what they say. They can be so audacious. Like, where do you get the audacity to talk to me like that or treat me like that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, do you not know? Come on here. Or should I say, dost thou not knowest who is I ameth? It's like, yeah. And so I really, I love watching the show Cheaters. I binge watched it, for years and stopped for years and recently picked it back up. I don't know what it is about Cheaters, Will Wheatos, Bill, what's his name? Okay, Wilkos, whatever the first name is. Divorce Court, Paternity Court. I love these shows, and I just be tripping off the stuff I see on these shows, and just how people are in their relationships, and just how selfish some people can be, and how audacious some people can be. This one cheater show I just watched the other day, a replay. Did y'all know? Well, let me digress. Okay, but yeah, this show I watched the other day. This young lady had been dating this guy for 2.5 years. She called cheaters because he had kind of distanced himself a little from her, and they lived together. They live together. So of course, Cheater starts following him. They follow him, and I should have had the clip for y'all tonight because I could have played that clip for y'all. But yeah, he Cheaters followed him, and I'm actually gonna try to find it for y'all real quick. And he got caught cheating.
Of course.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't have aired. Anytime you see someone cheating, just know somebody cheated, okay? Because they're not going to even air it without that kind of response. But yeah, so they actually cheaters have started back with some new new shows, and I'm trying to think of the guy who's on there, but it's the guy from Hip Hop, Love and Hip Hop. Gosh, what's his name? It really doesn't matter. But anyway, the point is, so she catches him. This guy is at a concert with this other woman, and they're like in the foyer area, the lounge area. So they go into this huge arena and catch him and her. And don't you know, the whole time he kept saying, "I don't know you." They have a kid together. They've been together 2.5 years, and the whole time he was like, "I don't know who you are." Why? And laughing. I'm talking about grown, like 38, 39, 40-year-old man telling this lady that I don't even know you. Can you imagine how hurt she was? How devastated she was?
How mad she was.
That too. She was devastated, y'all. Listen, he better take notes, Cliff. If he watching tonight, he gonna learn tonight that, listen, sir, your behavior is unacceptable. And for those of you that's just jumping in, Erica Mosley, Lucky, thank you for joining us on tonight. Peter, God dog it, thank you, Erica. Let me throw that out there. That's his name, Peter. I can't remember his last name, but he was with Amina and the other baby mama, and he married Amina. But anyway, yeah, his name is Peter something. And so yeah, Cliff, he better take notes. He need to jump on here tonight and get these good notes from myself and you, our listeners. So listen, for those of you that are just turning in, we need you to type in your comments real quick to help us answer this question for this young lady who met a young man during the pandemic on social media. They talked all the time. They FaceTimed all the time, all day, all night during the pandemic. And all of a sudden they had to go back to work, and she started school. And now he is complaining, y'all. You know what he's complaining about? Time. Lack of time together. And she is like, what do I do with this dude? But obviously she cares about him because she's reached out to the show. Right. She really wants resolution, not just leave him in the gutter and go get another.
Right.
Look who's saying right.
You know you need to stop rapping.
Look who's saying right over here. All right, Cliff. Yeah, he better take note. Mona Clayton says, hey, Kasha Hunt, and hello, Miss Cheryl. Hey. Don't she look cute tonight, y'all? Hit some hearts and likes for my mama. Yes. So anyway, Mona, thank you for joining us. Tiffany says Benzino. No, he looks like Benzino though, kind of, but he's taller. But Erica got it right with Peter. Jewel Brittany says, honey, with the laughing emojis. Come on here. Guns. Peter Guns. You know what, Erica, you and Jewel Brittany brought it together for us on tonight. Peter Guns is now over Cheaters, you guys. And he's hosting, and it's crazy. But this lady's husband was like, I don't know who you are. And you know what? Actually, I can't replay that for you guys because there's some explicit
stuff.
Yeah, there's some verbiage that does not need to be aired on the Women of Power radio show. But yes. So how many of y'all watch Cheaters? If y'all watch Cheaters, hit some hearts and likes or just hit some hands. Let us know that you watch Cheaters. But anyway, for those of you that don't know that are Cheaters fans, it's back on with Peter Guns as the host, and he is the coolest host. I thought the first one was cool, but he is just like, yeah. So you see, I mean, he's smooth with it, y'all. But listen, Tiffany Butler says, oh, that guy, that was a train wreck. Yes. So she saw the episode. That lady was so hurt. She couldn't even chase him when he ran because
he ran.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah. He grabbed the other lady and was trying to get her to hurry up and come on before she heard too many details. And then she broke off because I guess they came in separate cars. But yeah, he. But if you notice on Cheaters, a lot of times the men run, and then the cameramen and the women have to chase him down. But yeah, he just took off with the lady. But she was so hurt, she couldn't even catch her breath. Y'all, I felt so bad for her because I can't imagine being in a 2.5-year relationship with somebody, having a baby by them, catching them with somebody, and they say, I don't know you. But you know what would even be worse is getting to the doors of heaven, and the Father says, depart from me, you doer of iniquity, I know you not. Ooh,
That would be awful.
Lord have mercy. That would be devastating. Yes, Jewel, she done put the Peter and the guns together. Peter guns, she wants y'all to know. Listen, Frederick Hurst has a comment he wants to share. Cheryl Thomas, you want to read that comment for us? All right. What did Fred say?
I did not say it like that.
Oh.
He needs to get in line. If he doesn't move on.
Okay.
There should be an understanding.
Right.
It's not about him or her. It's about the relationship.
Yes.
You are doing something to make it better for you two. Don't stress yourself out.
Right.
Tell him to kick rocks and cry or die.
Okay, so that's the second man telling her to leave him alone.
Yeah. If he doesn't line up.
If he keeps making it about him. And I think that's the bottom line here is that it's not about you, boo. I'm trying to get an education to better myself. Wouldn't that, if we were to further our relationship and decide to get married,
that would be an asset.
Wouldn't me having a degree be like an asset to
for
us?
both of them, yes.
Better earning potential, better
Yes,
job
yes.
opportunities, even potential entrepreneurial opportunities.
But I can't help but wonder if it would cause a problem if she made more money than him. With that type of attitude.
Listen, we got some men on here tonight. I want y'all to type in right now. Would you have a problem with dating and potentially marrying a woman that makes more money than you? I want y'all answers tonight. Cliff, George, come on.
Get on it.
Fred, all of y'all. I need y'all answers. Would you have an issue with dating or marrying a woman that makes more money than you? Look, Cliff didn't waste no time. Cliff said, nope.
He would not have a problem.
Right. But you know what's crazy? I'm trying to wait on you, Fred, before I throw this out there. I'm trying to wait on your answer. But I want to say what's crazy is that there are so many men that would, that have an issue with that. But I want you to know, for those men that do have an issue with that, it's a pride issue. It's an issue that's dealing with you. And Fred said, no. I have no problem being with somebody making more Skrilla than me. All right. Thank y'all for being honest on tonight. But there are, I'm not going to say there's a lot of men because I haven't heard it from a lot of men. I've heard it from some men who said that would be an issue for them. And I'm just going to tell you, as a woman, I have no issue with my husband making more money than me.
I don't either.
I don't think any woman would, because we don't have that prideful issue, and plus we're not even called to
we don't really support that big ego thing. It would not shake our womanhood if the man made more money than we did.
Right. Nor
should it shake a man's manhood.
Right.
If his wife or his woman makes more money than him.
Right. We're doing this together now.
Right.
As in a non-marital relationship. No, we're not doing this together. I don't recommend anybody that's not married putting their money together, purchasing property together, purchasing vehicles together, purchasing large purchases, yachts, condos, mansions. I would not recommend you purchase anything with someone outside of the person that you are legally bound to, because it is a legally binding act, which means there are laws concerning stuff that you own together. Yes. But when you purchase stuff with someone that you are not married to, you don't have that legally binding situation, and those dual purchases can become tricky.
They can.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you and your husband get a condo together, and his name is on there, your name is on there, it doesn't matter. He can't put you out because it's your property together. It's called, what's it called? Community property?
No, it's called dual ownership.
But it's also called community property. It's considered community
if you've been in living together for over 10 years, or if you're married, it's part of community property. But
Right.
Texas they don't have
But
that.
we don't count that marriage that people just automatically get by living together over 6 years.
The law
What's that
does
called?
common law.
Common law marriage. But the law has not really been upholding common law. Because first of all, you have to prove that you're common law married.
That's not hard to prove, as long as you got mail coming there, and as long as you can prove you've been there, 6 months or whatever it may be in the state you're in. It's not hard to prove. Especially if you got a utility in your name.
Well, I just want to say it's not a real marriage. Okay, it's common law.
I'm not saying it's a real marriage. I'm just saying.
Oh, I know
law.
you're not. I was talking to the audience.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because it's more than just us here. There's
Really?
a whole,
Okay.
There's
I'm
actually
sorry.
people in that hole on that camera that we're talking to right now. And so, yeah. So I would say, yeah. And then Cliff, of course, is giving a shout out to his brother Fred, saying, yes, if he doesn't move on, if he doesn't get in line, move on. And so that sounds like that's the common thread that's going
running
through
all of this.
Yeah, that's running through everything. And I would say give him one last chance to just have a real conversation before you just say, I'm out.
Adios. Amigo.
Peace. Adios, amigos. Hasta luego, vista. At least give him one more chance. At least sit down with him and just say, look, I've noticed that you complaining a lot right now. Like, I don't know about y'all, but peace is priceless. Like,
it is.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you can't buy that.
You cannot.
You can't
And
go to the grocery store.
We're so easy to let other people take it away from us. If you didn't give it, you can't take my peace.
Right. And really,
because I'll block you.
Right. You're what?
Block them.
Okay. But yeah, peace is priceless. And so therefore we have to protect it at all costs. So when you're protecting your peace, you're saying that anything that's coming against my peace, it's got to go. Yeah. You can't stay. You can't stay. And so if him complaining about y'all lack of time together is disrupting your peace, and what you thought was a wonderful relationship is now turning into a hindrance. You don't even want to answer his calls. You don't even want to look at his text because it's always wah, wah, wah. And I'm not saying like a baby, but I'm just saying it's always whining about time, and not take it in consideration. I would give him one last conversation, and just one.
And I would tell him this may be the last conversation we have, but I just need to get an understanding with you.
Right. This is the last chance to get an understanding because I've already talked to you. You knew I was going to school.
Right.
You knew we were going back to work. You knew things were going to happen. We knew we was not going to stay in this COVID cocoon forever. Okay. We weren't going to stay in this love COVID cocoon, meaning like life was going to open back up and we were going to have to go back to work and have to start living regular lives. So therefore, now we must ask ourselves, what is, we have to have a reality check and realize that this is the reality. We're back at work and I'm in school. And so this is your last opportunity to get an understanding, because I'm not going to explain myself over and over and over and over again. That's something you do when you're teaching elementary kids or kids that are in nurseries. Right. You have to constantly explain to them how to pronounce I, and how to write A's and it's repetitiveness. Right. But in a relationship with two grown individuals, I should not have to keep repeating things over and over and over again for you to get the revelation of what I'm saying. But I need you to now focus on me, all eyes on me, zoom in on me, tune in to me and hear what I'm saying. I no longer have the time that I used to have, but what you can do is get creative. You want to look, when something's not going your way, don't complain about it, take action. Figure out a way to fix the situation. So if you have an issue with me not having time to spend with you, then you need to come up with some creative ways to spend time. And like I made one recommendation and somebody might think it's asinine, but it makes sense to me. If you can't see me between work and school because I go straight from work to school, then why not show up at my office outside and walk me to my car and give me a rose, and we just have that 5-minute conversation along that walk? That would be so romantic to me. Now I'm going to school feeling loved. I'm going to school with a rose.
Yeah.
I'm in class. You know what I'm saying? The brother that's trying to talk to me in the seat next to me, and I'm like, no, you must not know. I got a bag. He gave me a rose today. I ain't thinking about you. Ain't no conversation. You can't tell me I'm beautiful because he tells me every day.
Yeah.
Be proactive and think of creative ways. Cliff still saying let him go. Cliff, that is not the answer. Just push the side button. God bless you. That is not the answer, Cliff. I would say one more chance. You know, how come every time I sing somebody don't sound like the real song? Anyway, one more chance. Just one more again. Just give him that one more chance. And then if you give him that one more chance and he still don't get it, and he's still complaining, you got to protect your peace.
Got to. It's
priceless, y'all. You can't. It's hard to come by. And once you get it, you got to fight tooth and nail to keep it. Let's listen. Just this year, I had to disconnect for somebody because I said my peace is more important than what we trying to do. And if you are disrupting that, then I'm going to have to let you go because I value my peace and I'm going to preserve it however I can. And so if you're not adding to it, you're taking away from it.
Exactly.
And therefore I'm going to have to disconnect from this situation.
Yes.
And and so I pray that you get that revelation about your peace. And, you know, while you're working and going to school, that's strenuous. Like, how many of you guys online have worked and went to school at the same time, or worked and then worked a business after you got off work at the same time, or worked and came home and got 2-3 kids that you got to cook for and get ready for school the next day? That's a job. Now, come on here. As a mother of 4, even though, you know, my mom had maids and stuff like that, she wasn't a real mama.
Oh.
I just playing. You didn't have it our whole life. But yeah, so, you know, she had people cooking for her and
lock
cleaning.
her lips.
Oh my, she done put out vice grips on me. But yeah, so she can still give a testimony though, because there were years where she didn't have that. But I'm just saying, y'all can attest to the fact that it's not easy out here, even for the men. You know what I'm saying? Working 2 jobs. Come on here. Working and then getting off and running the detail business or whatever. We are living at times where we have an understanding that in order for us to not just survive, but in order for us to excel economically, we have got to have multiple streams of income.
Exactly.
Which means I can't just go to work 9 to 5, but now I got to go to work 9 to 5, and I've got to get off, and then I've got to work the plan that God gave me until I can quit that 9 to 5 and just work this. But even when I'm just working this, now I must find other streams of income, because in order for us to get ahead, we're going to have. And if y'all don't get nothing else from this show, get this. You got to have multiple streams of income. And so therefore, even thinking ahead, like even when I do graduate, there may be still other things that I'm going to have to do to advance me and my family forward. And so if you don't,
may want to go for your master's.
Right. And if you don't understand me on this level,
you ain't going to understand.
Where do we go from here? And so if in this last conversation, while we are coming together, if we can't come to an understanding, then yes, bye.
What song is that?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think it's my, but I changed it to bye. But anyway, Tiffany Butler says, laugh out loud. Too many men out there who'd be willing to be her group. Was that groupie? Yes. Willing to be her groupie, willing to be her number one fan to deal with this. But you may be right. She can let him know how to get right or get left. Ooh, I like that. Ooh. Either get right.
Sometimes you got to go left to get right.
Well, I think this left means you out the picture.
Exactly. And go on to Mr. Right.
Right? True. And so, yeah. And so, Tiffany, you're so right. I think that sometimes we as individuals get stuck on the fact that when we meet somebody and we're like, this is the one, and we're in love, and we think that this is the perfect person for us, we have no concept that there is anyone else. And I think we have to always keep in mind that, God did not just create one person when he says, that you have a mate. He didn't just create one mate for you, because if that was the case, if truth be told and we be honest with ourselves, we missed our mate a long time ago. Our mate may have been our high school sweetheart that we cheated on because we was young and dumb. And so, and even when I think back, I sometimes think I miss my mate. Well, I put it this way, he missed me, which made me miss him. But then again, he's not the only one. You know what I'm saying? And the one is coming around the corner, and I'm gonna bump into him. And I pray I don't fall, but I really hope it's like I fall, and then it's like in the movie where he leans over, and then our eyes lock when he helps me up, and then we fall in love, and then the violins play, and then it's like, and then we start dating, and then he's like, oh, she the one, and I'm like, he the one. And then he proposed, and then we get married. We live happy ever after. But anyway, that's just my dream. But yeah, so back to
many romance. No.
Yes, I love romance novels, and I've actually written one that I can't find. Y'all pray I find Dawn's Breeze, my Christian romance book I wrote. But
it was good. What you had written so far.
Good. It was so good. I just might have to start off from scratch. It'll probably be even better since I've got years more experience now. Mm-hmm. Erica says yes. Come on here. Yes. And if y'all notice, like I've been seeing people posting like, man, I am so proud of all my friends that are just getting engaged and getting married right now. But it's not just them. I'm sure that everybody on here can attest that it's like an enormous, but there's another word I was trying to say. Okay. There's a lot of people. Okay. There are a lot of engagements happening right now, a lot of marriages. I mean, our social media is just full of engagement and marriage after the other. Why?
Because they realize that life can be very short. And when you meet the one that you want to spend the rest of your life with, what are you waiting on? You need to do something about it. With COVID taking out young people, old people, middle-aged people, life's too short to dilly-dally around. You don't have as much time as you think.
You're right. And that could have been part of one of the awakenings we got from COVID, because we got so many. Come on here, like family is important. Hello, we got that. But also too, it's a spiritual thing happening right now. This is a time of unions, just spiritually. The Lord is condoning these marriages and these engagements, and it's overwhelming to me how many people in my timeline are engaged in.
I had 3 people get married in mine, and I didn't even get an invitation. I didn't know till after fact, and if I hadn't watched Facebook, I wouldn't have known then. Wow. Yeah.
What kind of friends?
They was family twice removed, but hey, I should have gotten an invitation. They call me Amy.
Well, now we know that means nothing. Okay. Frederick Hurst, let's read your comment. What did Fred say?
Fred said he is not getting the cookie like he used to, and he is sprung.
So you're
tell him to put a ring on it.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. Fred, that was good. But, man. Oh, Lord. Yes, you need to put a ring on it, especially if he's trying to get cookies.
Yeah. But she might want to think twice before she put that ring on.
Yeah, it needs to be a big conversation. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Right. Because one thing that we know, and it has been proven, is that a ring does not fix things. If you are a person that has an issue with infidelity in your regular relationships, marrying somebody is not going to fix that. If you're someone that's jealous in your regular relationships, putting a ring on it is not going to fix that. You need to fix your issues before you put a ring on it.
Exactly.
So that conversation. Right. You need to have a conversation, but also some things you got to deal with yourself.
Yeah. If you're the one that's jealous.
Right. Or if you're the one that's having some fidelity. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Sometimes people think a ring will fix it. Like a woman would think, oh, he's cheated on me, but
some people think we're engaged now. Fix it.
They think a baby
will fix it. If I have a baby, our relationship is going to work. No, ma'am. Mm-mm.
You got to fix that without all that. Erica says, If my mouse will allow me to be great for just a second. She says, yes, mama. You talking good tonight. Come on here. You talking real good. Thank you, Erica, for that comment. So listen, we are getting ready to wrap up this question for this individual. And listen, I pray that if you're watching on tonight, you received everything that was said. And the reality of it is that you are your life, and I'm not going to say you're more valuable than him, but if you don't value yourself, who will? And so you have to value your peace. You've got to value what you are doing with your life. You are going to school. You're trying to do better. And if he can't understand that and become a groupie, like Tiffany said, or become your number one fan and rub your feet while you study and, you know what I'm saying, cook or whatever, you know, all the different suggestions that were made on tonight of ways he can incorporate himself into what you've got going on. If he's not willing to do that, then
I would tell you this in closing, that if you're not his number one fan, you will meet someone who will make you their number one fan, and you'll have to rethink all this over again. So have the conversation straight, no chaser. This is not the time to be obscure. Let it be transparent.
So don't add no Coke to the Hennessy.
Don't add no Coke to the Hennessy, baby. Just straight up.
Okay. Yeah. So that part. So yes, make sure that you do that. Take our advice. I think we gave some really good advice on tonight. Fred says, I love you all and God bless. God bless you, Fred. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Women of Power radio show. Absolutely. So listen, as y'all know, with Women of Power on tonight, we thank you so much. We do want to say that for those of you that are watching on tonight, if you want to sew into the radio show, we are constantly trying to upgrade and bring you guys even more a better experience, if that makes sense. You can cash app us at $sign WOP radio. We definitely appreciate your donations that you've made so far. Listen, go to our YouTube and subscribe. So when you go to our YouTube, it's not necessarily that you're going to watch us on YouTube, but every time you subscribe, you're increasing our numbers for our algorithm so that we can eventually, you know, get paid for all of the lives that we do on YouTube. So we need you. And maybe you can't cash app us, but maybe you can just go to YouTube and type in Women of Power Radio Show and just like the page and click on the notifications and bam, you're done. You can be like, I did my part for WOP today. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I showed love. And then also for those of you that really have time, you can go to our Facebook and leave a review on the Women of Power Radio Show and just talk about how much you love us and how amazing we are and how awesome we are. We would sure appreciate that. And then if you have a question that you want answered right here on Women of Power Radio Show, you can submit your questions by simply going into our DMs on Facebook, or you can email us at womenofpower5@gmail.com, or you could type in right now and say, you know what? I don't care about anonymity or anonymity. Anonymity. No, and it's
I don't care.
I know how to spell it. I know how to spell it. I just can't pronounce it right now. Derek D. Reed Sr., thank you so much for jumping on the Women of Power Radio Show. LaShawn Rossum out of California, thank you for joining us. We are actually wrapping up the show on tonight. But listen, if you guys have questions, you can submit to those different entities at the bottom of the page. And that's our email address, or you can just go to Facebook, jump in our DMs. We'll let you slide in this time and share your questions so we can address it right here on the Women of Power Radio Show. So listen, we love you all so much. We thank you for tuning in. I'm going to leave you guys with this quick message and then we are out. Peace.
Nana.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Nana.
So let me give you guys an update on Nana. She is having some medical issues. And so I don't know if everybody saw me make that post asking for prayer for her, but I'm asking for everyone to be in prayer for Nana O. That God would just heal her body, and so that she could come back, not just so she can come back to the show, but so she can go back to work and she can, you know, go back to living the full life that she was living before all of this happened, right around the time of the Bayou Classics. And so we definitely want to keep Nana in prayer. She was actually a hostage in Louisiana that whole week after the Bayou Classics because of having to have emergency surgery. So we want to lift her up. Lift her up. And that don't sound like the song again. Sorry. All right. So let's close out with this last message from Nana.
Women of Power Radio Show, and I'm just coming through to remind you to follow us on Facebook at Women of Power Radio Show, and make sure you follow us on Instagram if you haven't already. That's Women of Power 5. Because at the end of the day, what kind of Savage Squad are you if you're not actually following us? See you there.
So once again, thank you guys for tuning into the Women of
Thanks.
Power Radio Show. Tiffany, we love you as well. We will see you guys next week. Same bad place, same bad time. I'm going to try to get that Cheaters clips for you guys. And if it doesn't have any explicit lyrics, I will share that on the next show because it's very interesting and heartbreaking, actually. But we love y'all. See you next week.